Hey, I have a great one for you today. Have you heard the joke about the guy who wanted to sell water? You know, that stuff that we used to get for free, for more money than sodas or even beer. Or how about the guy who wanted to start a new airline? The bloodbath of competition during the dot com crash. Then there is the one about the guy who lost the new coal company against Coke and Pepsi. And then one of my favorites. How about the one about the guy who bought 160 acres of orange groves to build what he wanted to call the happiest place on earth? Nutball, right? Well, are you laughing most were when Avion and JetBlue and Virgin Cola Disneyland business plans were discussed. But the Avion dude gets a chuckle 18.6 billion times a year in revenue. And David Needleman also has a billion reasons to go far. Launched in 1999, JetBlue was one of the only few airlines after 9/11 to be profitable. And people are always laughing at Sir Richard Branson, yeah, for Virgin Cola. And that one was justified because it did go bust. But don't laugh too hard because Sir Richard Branson has 400 of the companies and has giggled 5 billion times with his personal banker, and Walt Disney has snickered 650 million times as each person has entered his happiest place since it opened, July 17, 1955. The point here I'm making is historic revolutionaries, extraordinary achievers, icons often were laughed at and ridiculed at first. If you believe in your dream or vision or plan, don't let the snickering and the finger pointing going on behind your back deter you at all. When a young, not particularly Hollywood shaped black female who was raised in abject poverty in Mississippi said she wanted to become a news anchor. They laughed hard, but she became both the youngest and the first black female in Nashville. But they really laughed when she said she wanted to take on the king of talk shows, Phil Donahue. You remember Phil, Philly, right? Then they laughed again in the mid 1990s when she wanted to break the proven formula and turn from a tabloid based show to positive, uplifting, and inspirational based programming. Well, you know who I'm talking about by now, and you know the rest of the story now. As the richest African American of all time, and according to some assessments, the most influential woman in the world, it has become increasingly hard to laugh at Oprah. One of my favorite American success stories. When he told his countrymen that he was going to America, they laughed when he announced that he would win Mr. Olympia. They laughed and he laughed back several times when he announced in his awkward, thick Austrian accent that he was going to the biggest movie star, he's going to be the biggest movie star in the world. They laughed really hard. Well, during his Terminator reign, he was the highest paid actor of all time. When he announced himself as a candidate for the California governor, people couldn't stop laughing again. They laughed all the way to the polls and voted him in. This is probably why Arnold Schwarzenegger has such an infectious laugh himself. Schwarzenegger once said of his fortune, money doesn't make you happy. I now have 50 million, but I was just as happy at 48 million. He is now worth several hundred million. Schopenhauer explained that most new ideas will first be ridiculed, he said. Things like Fred Smith getting a C on his paper describing what would become the Federal Express one day. And then they become violently opposed British Airways slander against newcomer Richard Branson. And then they treat it as self evident. Oh, you are so lucky. So the lesson, my friends, here is if no one is ridiculing you or laughing at you, you probably don't have a revolutionary change making idea at all. Or you aren't doing anything well, funny to the herd. Don't accept the naysayers laughing at you. Try to make them laugh. Only when they are laughing might you be onto something really big. Have your friends and families laughed at you? I want you to tell us how you overcame this ridicule and mockery in the comments below today. And then go forth today and find new ways to make them laugh harder this time.